Thank you very much. And Jack, go ahead and sit down. Jack, just before you begin, this has not been part of the agenda that was made known to you. It wasn't part of the script that we have sent out to you. We have a little surprise for you. For those of you who don't know, this is the year where Jack officially retires from the speaking circuit. And we are very fortunate, we are very blessed that you have chosen this stage to be his final engagement. In honor of what you have done globally, and in honor of the work that you brought and the lives that you changed, we would like to present you with an award. The award is called the Living Legend Award. I'm inviting both Suren and Pravin to come on the stage to present Jack with the Living Legend Award. Please come to the gym.
So, I'm going to share with you a system of success real quick. Now, you've heard from a lot of people today about success, manifestation, achieving your dreams and your goals. I'm sure, since I wasn't here for everybody today, I may say some things that you already heard. If that's the case, just know that that's important to underline that. Think of it like a little highlighter. Okay? So we're going to move through this pretty quickly here. Let's see if I can get this to work. A little quicker. There we go. So the promise I make to you is if you do the things I teach you in the next 40 minutes, you can double your income or double your impact if you're not interested in making money, double your time off, have more balance in your life, and achieve greater levels of happiness, fun, meaning, and fulfillment. How many would like that? Very good. Okay. So it is possible, and I want you to realize just a couple of examples. I was in the Philippines a number of years ago, and this guy, John Callip, came to interview me. I was doing a book signing in a bookstore, and at the end of the interview, I said, John, that was really a great interview. How long have you been doing this? He said, you're my first interview. I said, really? He said, yeah, I just lost my job, and I don't have any, he was couch surfing, living on people's couches because he had no home, had no car. I said, John, how much money do you have in your pocket right now? He said, I don't know, about $3. I gave him a $20 bill, and I said, go buy dinner on me. I gave him a copy of my book, The Success Principles, you see on the screen. And I also said, come to my seminar tomorrow as my guest. It was a one-day seminar. He came. I came back to the Philippines 3 years later, and John walks in looking like this, with 12 people walking behind him with that same logo on their polo shirts. And I said, John, when he was wearing gold Doc Martens shoes, 2 Rolex watches, 1 on each hand. I said, you look a little different than when I was here last. He said, I am. He said, I'm now a multi-millionaire, and I literally, he was, let me show you this. He became what they call the money magnet. He was teaching seminars with people like this, from homeless to multimillionaire in 3 years, 4.5 years, 3.5. I said, John, how'd you do that? He said, I read your book, I did everything in it. I said, John, there's 64 principles to success in there. No one ever did everything in it. He said, I did. I said, get out of here. He said, I looked at you, you were healthy. I'm 80 years old, pretty good for 80 years old, very healthy. He said, you were happily married, you were a multi-millionaire, successful author. I said, I'm going to do everything for 1 year. If it doesn't work out, I'll have wasted a year. If it works out, I'll be successful. And he was. That's an example of what can happen if you put these principles into practice. There's a guy named Scott Schilling. Took a one-day workshop with me, same principles I'm going to share with you. And he said 22% of his income in a year in the first couple of days after the seminar. He went on to 5 times his income that year. This woman has a Guinness World Record. She tripled her income in 1 year as a result of what I'm going to teach you. Yumedo Puja Panit, she's here, right? Student of mine. And she came to my seminar, applied the principles, came back, put on the first TEDx conference, and you see what she's doing now, amazing work. So again, this works if you work it. I was down in Thailand. This guy was a homeless on the beach. Wrote a book called Homeless to Billionaire. I wrote the foreword to it. And he's 19 years old. He's living on the beach, sleeping on the beach. His suitcase with his pillow, sleeping on a beach towel, no money. And someone sent him a copy of my book and the movie The Secret. And he watched that, read the book, and now is a triple billionaire, has 19 companies from the time he was 19 until he was 35. So again, I just want to encourage you to know this works if you work it. The principles always work if you always work the principles. Let's all say that. The principles always work if you always work the principles. That was terrible. Let's try it one more time. The principles always work if you always work the principles. Okay, very good. Now, think about this. Life is like a combination lock. If you know the right combination, the lock has to open. Think about that. If you know the word, you know the numbers, the right order, the right way. It doesn't matter if you went to college, university, dropped out of high school. If you're black, white, brown, yellow, old, young, the lock will always open. And so this is what I'm going to be teaching you, the combination to this lock called success. It all comes from these books I've written. If you want to go deeper, you get those copies of the books. The Homeless to Billionaire. A friend of mine interviewed 21 billionaires. Same things that he found out that made them billionaires are what I'm going to be teaching you in the next few minutes. All right, number 1, write these down. You probably know this, but write it down. Number 1, take 100% responsibility for your life and your results. Notice it doesn't say 99%. How many of you would like to be married to someone who was 99% committed to monogamy? That wouldn't work. You'd always be wondering, is the day they're going to cheat on me, right? So you want to be 100% committed. That means no blaming, no complaining. I want you to act as if everything that happens to you, you've either created it, promoted, or allowed it to continue to happen. Write this down. E plus R equals O. This is the secret to everything in my book and everything in my work. Event. There's an event in your life that happens. You then get a response to that event. You have a response to it, and that produces an outcome. So the pandemic was an event. People responded to it in different ways. Some people got wealthy. Some people lost their businesses, lost their jobs. So it wasn't the event. If it was the event, everyone would have had the same the outcome. But it wasn't happening that way. So it's your response. So if you don't like the outcome, you're all here because you want better outcomes. You want more money, more freedom, more happiness, more joy, more relational fulfillment, more spiritual peace, all that stuff. In order to get that, you're going to have to do something different. Think of the formula as 2 plus 2 equals 4. If you're happy with 4, don't change anything. But if you want 5, which means more of something, you're going to have to do something more than you've been doing up until now. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. So you're going to have to do 3. which the world's doing too. And then every once in a while the world does 0. The pandemic came along, all of a sudden you gotta do 5 plus 0 to get 5. So that means you gotta step out of your comfort zone, do something different. Most people, instead of changing their response, what do? They blame the event. They blame the event. You have to give up blaming. Let's look at that for a minute. Think of all the things we blame. We blame the economy, the banks, the prices, the pandemic, the government, the president, the prime minister, the traffic, the weather, other countries, your competitors, the board of directors, your staff, your employees. All of that is a result of blaming things that you have no control over. What you do have control over is how you respond to the events that are happening. Now what I'm going to teach you in a few minutes is what are the responses of billionaires. You heard one billionaire speak today. What do they do different? How do they think different? Do they have habits? Disciplines of success? One of the things in this book, The Billionaire Secret, every billionaire in that book, 21 billionaires from 21 different countries, 21 different businesses, all of them got up around 5 o'clock in the morning, some of them at 4:30. They meditated, they read, they exercised. No, didn't matter how old they were, where they were, China, Sweden, Russia. This was across the board. Meditation, exercise. And the other thing was reading lots of books. Something I teach is called the hour of power. Write this down, the hour of power. What you're going to do is 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of meditation. Every day. The discipline. It's the consistent actions over time that produce results. Now, you also have to give up complaining. Complaining means you have a reference point of something you prefer that you're not willing to risk creating. We don't complain about things we can't change. Have you ever seen an old person with a walker walking through the mall going, gravity? I hate gravity. If it wasn't for gravity, I wouldn't be all bent over like this. Gravity sucks. You ever seen anyone do that? Why not? Because you can't do anything about gravity. It just is. In fact, we play with gravity. All of our sports games have gravity involved. How far can you throw the football? How high can you jump, etc. So the reality is, if you're complaining about something, it means you have a preference. A better job, a better boss, a better place to live, a better person to hang out with. But means also that you're afraid to do anything to change it, so what you do is you get together with people and you complain about it. And you think you've done something, but you haven't. So we have to give up that. Make sense? Okay. Number 2, I want you all to do this. Point to your head like this, everybody. And on the count of 3, I want you to say, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
It's meant to be, it's up to me.
Very good. No one's going to come along and save you. You have to do the work. All right. First step, you have to decide what you want. You're all here because you want something. We're going to get very specific about that in just a minute. It starts with desire. Here's the problem. Most people don't give themselves permission to go after what they want because they don't know how to get there. I'm going to ask you in a moment to set a goal beyond any goal you've ever set, probably. And you're going to go, but I don't know how to do that. And I will tell you, the how will show up out of the things I'm going to teach you in a few minutes after this. So don't let the how, not knowing, get in the way. You have inside of you an inner GPS. We all have a car with a GPS system, a smartphone. You have one too. It's called your subconscious mind. I call it your goal producing system, just like a GPS, right? So we learn how to access that, how to program that, we can have anything we want. Okay. So, this is General Wesley Clark. He said it doesn't take any more effort to dream a big dream than it does to dream a small dream. This guy was the head of NATO Allied Forces in Europe. He said you don't have to scrunch up your face more, you don't have to burn more calories, you simply have to choose to put an extra 0 or 2 zeros behind the number you want. It's a choice. You will produce what you choose, but you have to make the choice. And for many of you it's uncomfortable, it's out of your comfort zone. Make it anyway. Richard Branson said, if your dreams don't scare you, they're too small. Think about that. Most of us are addicted to comfort. We don't want to be uncomfortable. The reality is, getting to where you want to go, you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. Be a little frightened at times. That comes with the territory. Now, I want you each to have what we call a BHAG.
Big hairy
They call it Big
audacious
Hairy
goal.
Audacious Goal. Harvard Business School, in the Harvard Business Journal, found that the companies who were really successful had a big, hairy, audacious goal. Like Apple, going to put a computer on every desk in the world. That's a big, hairy, audacious goal for Steve Jobs. So we want you to have a big, hairy, audacious goal in your life as well. So in a moment, we're going to set a goal, and I want it to be big enough that you're going to have to grow and change in order to get there. And here's one of the cool things about this. You can become a millionaire and lose all your money. You can marry the perfect woman and then she dies, or she leaves you. You can have the perfect house or it burns down like I just did for a bunch of my friends in Pacific Palisades in California, where you saw thousands of houses burned down, $1 million homes. You can lose your reputation, but you can never lose who you became in the process of getting there. So if you set a goal to become a millionaire, you have to grow to get there. And even if you were to lose some of that, you'll never not have that awareness of you can go anywhere. I interviewed a bunch of millionaires a number of years ago. There were two kinds, self-made and inherited. The people that were self-made millionaires told me, you could take all my clothes, drop me naked into any country in the world, and within 1 year I'd be a millionaire again. Because I know how to do that now. Once you know how, you can't not know how. Does that make sense? Okay, good. That's what I want for you. So, my BHAG with my friend Mark Victor Hansen was to positively impact 1 billion lives through inspirational books, speeches, audio programs, trainings, and philanthropy. And just to give you an example, we sold 350 million books in China, over 100 million in India, 600 million books sold worldwide. I've been on television shows that reach 40 million people. I'm told in India, every book gets read by at least 2 people. Right? Pass it around. So we probably already hit 1 billion people. But the point being, we set that as a goal. Now we had to learn a lot, do a lot to get there. But it stretched us. One day we set a goal to sell 1 million books in 1 day. A week later, I get on a bus at a conference. I sit down next to this woman. She says, "You're Jack Canfield, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "What do you?" She's holding a chicken soup and soul up there. So what happens? I said, "Are you and Mark doing anything interesting?" I said, "We just set a goal a couple of weeks ago to sell 1 million books in 1 day. Never been done. Harry Potter books, they've done it since then, one time." She said, "I can help you do that." I said, "Really?" She said, "I'm the buyer for the W.H. Smith bookstores. We buy all the books for the airports. And we can do a thing where we'll put all you and your co-authors on the East Coast. We'll have you do book signings in the airport from like 6 to 8. You'll get on planes, fly to the Midwest, do book signings again, then fly to the West Coast, do book signings again, and we'll have, all day long we'll be signing books." I said, "Great." Once you set a big goal like that, and you believe in it, and you do the things I'm going to be teaching you in a second, you'll start having miracles happen like that. You'll be attracting opportunities to you in a way that will astound you. But you have to believe in it, you have to set the goal, and I want you to set outrageous goals. Why not? Why not? You're here, think about this. I was thinking the other day, I'm 80, had a long life. As I said, I'm going to retire this year. I actually doing 3 more seminars in the United States. This is the last one, but it's close to the last one. And so what happens is that I realized many times in my life, I wouldn't ask somebody for something because I was embarrassed or shy or afraid of rejection. Such a waste of time. Think about this. If I asked you to have lunch with me tomorrow and you say no, I didn't have anyone to eat lunch with before I asked you, I don't have anyone to eat lunch with after I asked you. My life did not get worse, right? If I apply to go to Harvard, I don't get in, I spent my whole life not going to Harvard. I know how to handle that, right? So you got to be willing to be a little uncomfortable. Step out of your comfort zone. Do the thing that's uncomfortable. Ask. Make offers. Do things that, maybe your parents or your friends say, "You can't do that." We'll go, "Yes, I can. Watch me." All right. So we're going to use the power goal setting, which all of you, I'm sure you've heard this many times today. We're going to set what we call a breakthrough goal. A breakthrough goal is a goal that will break you through. Most corporations set goals like for a 10%, 20% increase in sales or income. I want you to set goals like 10 times the income, double your income in 6 months, that kind of thing. I'll give you some examples of former students' breakthrough goals. Number one, create my own 5-minute radio show. This was a chiropractor in Dallas, Texas, set that as a goal. What happens? Gets his 5-minute radio show in the morning when people are driving to work. 5 minutes. Within 1 year, he had opened 5 satellite offices around Dallas and had other students from chiropractic working. He'd go one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, etc. And he 5 times his income in 1 year from a 5-minute radio show. Write and publish a book. Change my life, change Boota's life, to change your life. Open up China as a market. Only 1.3 billion people over there, although you're a big market as well, right? Have 1 million Facebook followers. I do, I have 1.3 million. Develop a successful online podcast. Make $1 million on your product launch. Double, triple, or 10 times your income. Have a client like Apple, Google, Facebook, Tata Motors, whatever. The point being that those are breakthrough goals. A lot of you are going, well, I couldn't do that. Yes, you could. You may not know how yet, but you can. So we're going to set a goal like that in just a minute. Now, goal has to be measurable. How much by when? So many acres, so many, you don't say acres here. What are you talking about when you measure land? You use acres? Okay. But the point being, rupees, people, clients, sales, how many people on your social media sites, etc. Has to be measurable and has to be by when. When are you going to do it by? So we're going to set a goal in a moment, and we're going to set the goal to be done in 1 year. So give you an idea. Most people say, how many of you would like to make more money? Raise your hand. Okay. That's a hope, a desire, an intention, but it's not a goal. A goal would be, I will earn an annual income of $100,000 US by 5 p.m. December 31st, 2025, or 7 million rupees. Same thing. By a certain date. How much? By when? I'm going to lose weight and get fit. Becomes, I will weigh 180 pounds or 81 kilograms or less and complete a 10K run by October 30, 2025 at 5 p.m. Again, how much by when? One last example. Like to write and publish an online course that will help people overcome their fears and go for their dreams. Great. I will write and publish a transformational online course and sell 2,000 copies by 5 p.m. August 9th, 2025. So it has to be by a date. Otherwise, your subconscious doesn't know when to start and what to do and for how long. All right. So what I want you to do is close your eyes. Sit up straight, close your eyes. And I want you to think about if you could accomplish anything at all that you would really like to have, maybe you thought it's impossible, but it's what you really want. By next year, at this time, February 8th, 2026, what would it be? It could be in any area of your life, business, finance, health, relationships, philanthropy, doesn't matter. I want you to pick a goal. Make it measurable. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. And I want you to write that down. And write it the following way. I will what by when. Always start with I will or you will or that you do. I will. Put the date to be February 8th, 2026 or sooner. It's important that you write it down. I'll tell you why in just a second. There's research on this. Professor David Cole at Virginia Tech University did a study, found out that people who write their goals down, not just think them in their head, but write them down, earn 9 times more money in their life than people who don't. Simply writing it down. Every year, New Year's goals, whatever it might be, write them down. You can write them down, put them in a drawer, don't even look at them again, and you'll get more results. But if you write them down and review them every week, every month, that kind of thing, you get even better results. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to turn to someone next to you And if two people turn the opposite way and you're left in the middle without anyone to talk to, you're going to join one of them, make a group of three. And you're going to have a total of 1 minute, 30 seconds each. If it's a group of three, less time, divide it up. And you're going to say to that person, my one thing increases it by 17%. When you tell it out loud to another person, it increases it again. If you have a breakthrough goal, put it on your website, tell your friends, put it on the mirror in your bathroom, put it on the refrigerator, let people know. My mentor was a man named W. Clement Stone. He was worth $600 million when I worked with him in my 20s. He said, tell other people what you want to do. They might help you do it. They might say, you need to meet this person. You need to read this book. I want to have a goal like that too. Maybe we should work together. In other words, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Very important. Okay. Now the next thing is you got to believe it's possible. You heard Marissa Peer talk today about the importance of belief, the importance of your attitude, mindset. So here's the thing. Harvard did a study, and also Stanford. They found out that your attitude and your mindset and your beliefs are much more important than your aptitude, your talent, natural talent. Stanford was 8% aptitude, 92% attitude. Harvard, 50% aptitude, 85% attitude. So your attitude is way more important than anything else. So you got to believe it's possible. That's the attitude and thinking. Now, here's the thing. Belief is just a choice. It's just a choice. There's a woman named Sarah Blakely. She just sold her company for hundreds of millions of dollars. She's a billionaire. She built this company up with no investors. They sell Spanx in India. No, just in the United States. Just think what she did in one country. She'd gone international, right? And she's been on the cover of every major success magazine. She said, mindset is the most important thing you have as an entrepreneur. Work on it daily. What does that mean? Every day. Have an affirmation. Affirm your goal. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. How many have read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? Okay, only about a fourth of the audience. Write that down. Think and Grow Rich. It's a required reading for anyone in this room. Think and Grow Rich. Think, your attitude, and grow rich. Okay, if you can conceive it, believe it, you can achieve it. This is Muhammad Ali. He said, impossible is a big word thrown around by small people who find it easier to live in a world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. He changed impossible to I'm possible. There's nothing's impossible. You can give me any situation, I can tell you someone who did it. I have a friend who literally has no arms past the elbow, no legs past the knee, just climbed up Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. First person to ever do that. Blind people that climbed Mount Everest. People that were born poor who became billionaires. So nothing's impossible. I need a volunteer to come up on stage with me to demonstrate something real quick. Who would be willing to do that? Okay. Tell everyone your name. Your name is? Kanika. Okay, Kanika, you're going to stand here. And I'm going to show you something very important about beliefs and how they affect you. Your thinking affects you. So I'm going to muscle test your arm. Is that okay with you? Everything's good? So I'm going to push down your arm. You resist. See how strong you are. If you push up, I push down. There you go. Okay. Now, I want you to say, I'm a bad girl. Notice what happens to your arm. Now say, I'm a good girl. Notice what happens now. Good and strong. The minute you say something negative to yourself, you weaken your entire muscular system in your body. You need to know this. Very important. Now, it's not only thinking negative thoughts about yourself, it's about other people. I want you to think of someone you don't like. Don't say their names. And I want you to imagine thinking some negative thought about them. You often think about them. Keep thinking that thought. Notice what happens to your arm. Now I want you to send them a loving thought, a forgiving thought, as best you can make it up. Notice what happens now. Good and strong. So anytime we're in judgment of someone else, we're weakening ourselves, a waste of time. I want you to think about your breakthrough goal. And I want you to say it out loud. Okay, say, I can do that. Say, I can repeat the thing. I can. No, the whole thing. I can teach 1,000 people. Okay, resist, good and strong. Now say, I can't do that. Like the whole sentence again. Notice what happens now. As soon as you say I can't, your arm goes weak. As soon as you say I can, your arm stays strong. So I want you to all eliminate the word can't from your vocabulary. If you were to take a workshop with me, a longer workshop, there'd be 2 fish bowls on either side of the stage. Anytime you said can't, you have to put $20 in the fish bowl. Not because I'm going to take that money and go out and buy dinner with them, because I want you to realize how much it costs you when you think negative thoughts, right? So I want you to say, I will try to achieve my breakthrough goal. Notice what happens. Now say, I will achieve my breakthrough goal. Much stronger. So I want you to make the word try as well. I want you to surround yourself with positive people. Let me show you why. I want you to look up here at Hanukkah, and I want you to think a mildly negative thought. Nothing heavy. Just like, I don't like the color of what you're wearing would be plenty, okay? Just think that thought. Notice what happens to your arm. That's what weakness is good. Now I want you to send her a positive thought. I like you, you volunteered, you're brave. Keep thinking that thought. Notice what happens now. Good, strong. Okay, how's your arm doing? Okay, now one last thing here. I want you, with actually 2, I want you to imagine you're surrounded by a fountain. There's water coming up 8 feet all around you. You're in the middle, all dry. Got it? And I want you to imagine this fountain's full of light and sparkly energy like on a sunny day. Can you close your eyes and do that? Okay. Keep imagining that. You keep imagining the water. I want you to all send her that same negative thought again. You keep imagining the water. That is good and strong. So what she's just done is created a protective shield around herself to keep your negative thoughts out. Now, stop imagining the water. Tell me when it's gone. Okay, send her that same negative thought. Okay, send her a positive thought. Always want to have it positive. Good, strong. Now, one last thing. I want you to think about some goal you have and only how it's going to serve you if you achieve it. Maybe the one you just came up with. Only how it's going to serve you. Right? Keep thinking that. Notice what happens. Now I want you to think, same goal, but this time think about how it will serve others if you achieve it. Good and strong. All right. Excellent. So when you have a goal, I don't care if it's wanting a Mercedes-Benz. Think about how it's going to serve others. Come from service, not from greed. That's going to make sure you're going to get grateful. Let's give Hanukkah a big hand up there. Thank you. All right, the power of your thoughts. So one of the things you're going to do now is you're going to create an affirmation for your breakthrough goal. An affirmation, I'm going to give you a quick form you can use. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now, and then you put in your thing. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now teaching a class for 1,000 students, you know, that kind of thing. I'm so happy and grateful. I'll give you a couple of examples. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now earning a personal income of $100,000 a year, or again, 7 million rupees. So write it down. I'm so happy and grateful that I am now. Write it down. Writing it down is important. Take your breakthrough goal, turn it into an affirmation. If you achieved it, you'd be happy and you'd be grateful. Obviously, if I gave you $1 million, you'd be grateful, you'd be happy. So we're just doing this for your breakthrough goal. You want to have an affirmation for every goal that you have in life. 20 more seconds to finish writing that. Went to work for him. And he said, Jack, I want you to set a goal that's so big that when you achieve it, you'll know it's only possible because of the techniques that I taught you, some of which I'm teaching you now. And so I was making $8,000 a year, 8 with 3 zeros. And so I set a goal to make $100,000. which was 12 times more than what I was making. I did not know how to do that, but I set the goal. And then he said, I want you to have an affirmation, like I just taught you. And he had a visualization, which we're going to do in just a minute. You close your eyes, you visualize already having it, how you would feel if you already have it, after you say your affirmation. You do that every day. And after about 30 days, ideas are going to start coming to you of things you can do. And then you have to do them, you take the action. So what happens is I made this thing called a $100,000 bill. There's actually one, only banks use them. But I took a $100 bill, and I just drew a lot of zeros after it. And I projected it up on the ceiling of my bedroom. And every morning I wake up, I'd see this, and I would close my eyes and say my affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful that now I'm spending and investing $100,000 a year. And I would close my eyes and visualize a $100,000 a year lifestyle. After 30 days, I'm in the shower, I have my first $100,000 idea. That's when they happen, in the shower, putting on your makeup, cooking, driving to work. We call it hands busy, mind free time. So your mind is available. So I had a book at the time called 100 Ways to Enhance Self-Concept in the Classroom. It's a book for teachers. Every time that book got sold, I got 25 cents. If I said 400,000 copies of that book, I'd make $100,000. So that was my idea. That's how I could do it. And then those things started to happen. My wife said, honey, if we were a bookstore, we'd make $3 a book. Instead of your 25-cent royalty, we'd make the retail markup. So we started a mail order bookstore, one product, my book, and we started sending that out to people. Eventually, my wife said, we could add other products. We ended up with 8 pages of self-esteem products. Had high school kids coming in after school, selling them. We started taking our bookstore to conferences and so forth and so on. And just new things kept going on. I did not make $100,000 a year. I made $92,325. You think I was disappointed? No, I was blown away. And then my wife said, do you think it worked for $1 million? I said, only one way to find out. So we made $1 million bill. You can go to Amazon.com now, and you can actually buy these fake $1 million bills, carry them around in your wallet, put them on your mirror, kind of surround yourself in that mindset. And so my new affirmation was, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now depositing my $1 million royalty check to my best-selling book. And then I had the Chicken Soup for the Soul book come out, and I changed it to depositing my $1 million royalty check from the publisher, which was Health Communications. And here's a check written to me for $1,130,328.35. And here's the cool part. That was for 3 months. That year, I got $6 million in royalties for that stuff. Changed my life. Changed my life. All because I was doing what I'm teaching you to do. I have another one. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now talking to a large convention audience of 1,000 or more people. Here today, 3,000 people. This is what happens. Okay? All right. So I want you to write down your affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful that I am now. Did we already do that?
Yes.
We did, okay. Moving right along. Here we go. So we're going to add one more thing to this. It's called visualization. What I want you to do is, right now, just go ahead and close your eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine it's 1 year from now, and you have achieved your goal. You've achieved your goal. What would you be looking out at? As you're in your body, looking out at the outer world from inside you, what would you see that would let you know you achieved your goal? Could be a bank balance, could be people giving you a standing ovation, could be your wife saying, thank you, honey, for providing such a great lifestyle for us. Could be seeing your book in the bookstore window. Could be looking at yourself on television, whatever it might be. What would you see in the outer world that would let you know you achieved it? And I want you to add in a soundtrack. So here you're visualizing it, filling all the details. What would you be listening to? Maybe it's the sound of your car starting up, your Ferrari or your Lexus or your, whatever kind of car you want. Or it's the sound of the beach, the waves rolling up on the beach. It's your beach house. And then finally, this is the most important part that most people don't do. What would you be feeling in your body if you'd already achieved that? And feel it now. Be an actor or an actress. Create that feeling in your body. This is really the most important part. It's raising your vibration to that emotional state of already having it. All right. Very good. Open your eyes, come on back. So here's your daily discipline I want you to do. Every day I want you to take out your affirmation, read your affirmation out loud, close your eyes and visualize what you just visualized. Do that every day when you first wake up, every night before you go to bed. If you do that, after about 30 days, your life's going to magically change. I promise you. But you have to do it. And you need to do it 30 days in a row without missing a day. There's a bunch of research behind that. If you miss a day, the next day is day one again. So make sure you do it. All right. I'm going to skip this story only because of time. This is the guy who actually got in the Olympics when no one was supposed to be able to do it. But I want to ask you, what do you think is the main thing that separates high achievers from people that don't achieve? Just yell it out. What do you think is the main thing?
Action!
Mindset.
Action!
I hear a lot of things. I'm gonna make a bet here. I'm gonna say it's taking action. All of this mindset stuff builds up to you taking action. If you don't take action, nothing happens. So you've got to take action. One of my friends has the law of Goya, G-O-Y-A. Calls it the law of get off your ass. Right? You got to go do the things that are required. You're going to get creative ideas, but then you got to go fulfill those. Like start the bookstore I started. Well, otherwise, it would never have happened. So an idea is not good enough. You got to take the action. Okay, just to take about 2 more minutes to finish this up here. And I can't skip through these slides, so I'm just going to jump ahead. Just stay with me. One of the things you want to do is called the rule of 5. Does everyone say that? The rule of 5. Every day I want you to do 5 actions toward the achievement of your goal. 5 specific things. Write 5 pages for your book. Call up 5 people if you're a salesperson. You know, exercise for 5 extra minutes. Whatever it is. You want to lose weight? 5 things. Stop eating sugar. Stop eating carbs. Go for a walk after dinner. Drink more water. Exercise. 5 things. If you do 5 things every day, by the end of the year, you'll have done something like 13,000 activities. Nobody can withstand that, right? So it's important that you do the rule of 5. The other thing is I want you to ask. One of the ways you get successful is to ask people for things. Ask. Chicken Soup for the Soul was turned down by 144 publishers. 144 publishers said no. What if I'd given up after 100? I would not be standing here today. I would not be living in an $8 million home. I would not be living on the beaches of California. Wouldn't be traveling around the world. So don't ever give up. Ask. I want you to become what we call an asshole. If they say no, I want you to say next. If someone says no, what are you going to say?
Next.
Next person, next time, go back to them, etc. Right? Okay. Don't ever give up and stop. Very important to keep on keeping on. What else here? Okay. What stops us from succeeding is fear. Fear and limiting beliefs. You heard a lot about limiting beliefs today. Let's talk about fear for just a second. Next time you feel fear, I want you to do this. We're going to chant this together 3 times. It goes like this. Oh, what the heck? Go for it anyway. It's a Gregorian chant from the old days. Let's all try that. Oh, what the heck? Go for it anyway. 2 more times. Oh, what the heck? Go for it anyway. 1 more time. Oh, what the heck? Go for it anyway. Very good. Everyone fold your hands like this. Notice which thumb is on top, right or left. How many of you right thumb on top? Hold them up high. Look around. These are the better thinkers in the room. Brilliant people. How many of your left thumb on top?
Left hand.
Hold them up high. These are the sexy people. Okay? Important to know who's who. No, seriously. Fold your hands again. Same thumbs on top, right? Don't have it. I want you to unhook your fingers and put the other thumb on top. Unhook your fingers, move them up a notch, so the other thumb's on top. How does that feel? It's uncomfortable, right? What does your body want to do? Wants to go back. That's why most people fail in life. They're not willing to be comfortable and uncomfortable. You've got to be willing to be uncomfortable long enough. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Does that make sense? Okay. Very good. Okay. I'm going to end with the story. Little boy named Bobby. Parents called him Bobsy. And Bobsy wanted to grow up and be a fireman. And when he was about 6 years old, he got really sick. They took him to the hospital and found out he had leukemia. They only gave him about a month to live. And so Bobsy, his parents went to him and said, Bobsy, you're not going to live the middle life that most people would live, but what did you want to be when you wanted to grow up? He said, I want to be a fireman. So they went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and they said, could you bring a fireman by and just talk to Bobsy in his hospital bed? That would mean a lot to him. The chief of the fire department said, we'll do better than that. We're going to come by and we're going to make Bobsy the fire chief for the day. If you give me his measurements, we'll get an actual uniform made for him with the helmet, the slicker, the boots, and the whole thing. A week later, they show up. They take him out on a fire truck, the hook and ladder truck in the back, and he got to ride in the back with this guy named Bob, the same name. And he got 3 fire calls that day. And every time he did it, the chief would say, well, Bobby, what would you do? This is what we would do. What would you do? He said, that sounds good, do it. He saw himself on TV that night. He had a great day. He lived about a month longer than anyone projected he would live. And so what happened was that the night he was going to die, the parents called up the chief of the fire department and said, could you come by and just stand by Bobsy's bed as he makes his transition? And they said, sure. They had 4 people come. They actually picked him up and they rocked him for a while. And he looked up and he said, does this mean I'm a real fireman? And they said, yes. They said, go with God, my son. And he died. But he had his dream come true. He got to be a fire person for a day of his life. And tonight you're going to go home and you're going to be brushing your teeth, you're going to get ready for bed, you're going to look in the mirror. I want you to take a moment and actually stop and look into your eyes. Inside those eyes is a little Bobsy. Every one of you has a child in you that has a dream. We would do anything for that 6-year-old child. Our grandchildren, our own children. Will you do whatever it takes to have the 6-year-old in you have their dream come true? Yes. It's up to you. I hope you'll make that choice. Thank you very much. I hope this was helpful.